Yes, yes. Welcome to Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. I, Joey, only do a lot of crazy things. I decided to ram my truck into the snowbank yesterday because I knew that the grader was going to come through and make the berm extra big. I need to get to my woodshed this week to get some more firewood. But I don't have the same tires I used to have on my truck. And they don't want to just drive through the snow like my old mudders used to do. But, and there's the grader over there. There it is. This is bad news. My God.
Falling out right now.
Anything could happen. Get on! Wow. I'll watch the video later. Ain't dry mopping this. All right, friends. That's the bad news show. I'm Joey Only. It's Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel right here. Hit like, share, subscribe. Let's have a look at the weather. But first, I can't post to Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers for another week again because of this. This meme has landed me into Facebook jail once again. Yes, in Facebook jail. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but here I am till next week, till the 19th, it says, in Facebook, so I can post on my page, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna go to Blue Sky. I'm just gonna keep posting on Blue Sky for now on. I'll post on Weather Watchers, but I think I'm fucking done with Facebook. Like, this is just ridiculous. I can't, there's no standard for what is acceptable and what is not. You know, what happens is I see legitimate hate speech and I report it, and it's like, well, our robots have found that everything is completely fine with that extreme right hate homophobic drivel that you reported on. No problem there whatsoever. But Andrew Tate, we better protect him. If I dug it out, throwing a bunch of ash underneath, should be able to just walk it out now, right? That can happen for me, right? Get out of here before more snow comes tonight. It's already just starting to lightly snow. Right. So it's like after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm making this, and we have most of our weather watches and statements up that I think we're going to see tonight. Maybe we'll see a couple more go up. I don't think so. Maybe something tomorrow morning. I don't know. Tonight, it's really a coastal show, and we expect things to move inland for tomorrow. So we might see something still come up here. So keep tuned to Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers, even though I can't, post there, and keep tuned to Environment Canada. So coastal flooding warning, and keep in mind that this is because of high astronomical tide. This is not a river flooding situation because I just checked BC River Forecast Center, and they have no statement whatsoever. So everything's fine in terms of the precipitation coming. It'll be heavy precipitation, perhaps, but what we're seeing is a storm is pushing water coming in, combined with a high astronomical tide, right? So coastal flooding due to large waves coinciding with the high tide. You could see a 100-centimeter surge above. That's a whole meter, right? So beware if you're out on the coast there. A strong wave could maybe sweep you off a rock and into the water, right? High tide midday on Saturday, and that's from Souk to Cape Scott, right? A deep low pressure system is poised to make landfall over northern Vancouver Island on Saturday. As it does, very strong southeast winds will veer to the very strong southwest and push significant wave heights 5 to 7 meters onshore onto the west coast of Vancouver Island. Oh. The timing of the very strong southwest winds will coincide with high tide, resulting in the potential for storm surge to reach 50 to 80 centimeters above high tide. Locally, the storm surge could be 100 centimeters. So that is for all of you in there. Be aware. And that's on top of wind warnings where you could see wind gusting up to 100 kilometers an hour, perhaps in some places in through Saturday morning. That coincides with your additional chance of flooding. And we do have some other statements on the island as well. No, not really. This is connected to the mainland, this wind warning. It's more or less the same story. It's Metro Vancouver, Surrey, Langley, Richmond, Delta, Burnaby, West Metro Vancouver and City of Vancouver, Sunshine Coast, Gibsons to Earls Cove, East Vancouver Island, Duncan to Fanny Bay, and the Southern Gulf Islands. 70 kilometer an hour, could gust to 100. Yeah, for Bowen Island, Lions Bay, Metro Vancouver, West Vancouver to Boundary Bay and Saturnia Island, winds will veer south or southwest northwest 70 kilometers an hour, gusting to 90 Saturday afternoon when the front passes. These areas will see winds ease early Saturday evening. Damage may occur. Be forewarned, and the wind warning even carries up into the Whistler area, so 70 to 90 kilometer an hour winds there. So that's interesting. We do have on Highway 3 in that whole lovely stretch, the Paulson and up through Kootenai Pass, 15 to 20 centimeters overnight until Saturday evening. Maybe 20 centimeters can be expected. Yeah, a robust funnel system will pass over the region, and light snow will begin this afternoon but will intensify overnight. Weather in the mountains can result in hazardous driving conditions, Up for Williston Lake here, good news for everybody at Powder King Ski Resort. Another 15 centimeters expected into the Williston area. You got your own ski hill there, 15 centimeters into the Pine Pass. So yeah, same for you. Over in Alberta side, northwest Alberta, and snowfall warning is there. It will taper off by Saturday night. 10 to 20 centimeters is expected. We do have some special statements for fog up in Dease Lake, Teslin sort of areas, so be forewarned of that. And what's going on with our Ontario storm? Still seeing massive snow. 5 to 10 centimeters still expected there. We had just ridiculous amounts of snow has been falling there, and our storm has basically now left the east coast, although the low is pretty robust up there. We do have one snow squall watch for the west coast of Newfoundland, and we do have a rainfall warning that I did miss for Courtenay to Campbell River there, 50 to 70 millimeters of rain for you guys. Nothing out of the ordinary, but a little heavy rain nonetheless.
Oh, how am I going to get my truck out? How am I going to get my truck out? Oh.
Bitter cold in the prairies this week, man. I have not envied it at all. Just completely nasty cold. Check out some of these records that were set. Daily records in Manitoba, for starters. Carberry saw 36.8. Broke a record of 35, set 95. Here's since 1895 they've been keeping records in Carman area, and they hit 34.6. So extremely cold records. That Arctic air is just screaming out. Roblin down to 37.1. Very cold, very cold. New Brunswick, they saw some maximum temperatures: 14.4, 14.5, 15.5, and Kuchibuagak. Things like that, right? So warmer in parts of the East Coast than it was in areas such as New Orleans, as the cold recedes all the way down to the southern parts of the United States. Some warm temperatures still yesterday. Happy Valley Goose Bay saw 12.8. Meanwhile, those temperatures in Manitoba and Saskatchewan have been as cold as Mars, right? So interesting here. Bona Vista has hit 14.5 yesterday. So warm weather. Deer Lake 14.7, so 15 degrees. 15.2 for Terra Nova National Park. Winterland area saw 15. So 15 in Winterland, folks. Even in Winterland, it was 15. And, that's not Winterland at all. Nova Scotia, 17.2 in Cheticamp at the Highlands there. Really, really warm. Meanwhile, Ontario, snowfall amounts, 47 centimeters on top in Bracebridge. That's on top of ridiculous snowfall they've been getting repeatedly. Wyerton seeing 25.8 down there on Georgian Bay. Sault Ste. Marie, 21.5 centimeters. Barrie, landfill, 12 centimeters. They got a bunch of snow on top of the garbage there. Maximum wind gusts at Point Peter, Ontario, 98, 96 in Beatrice. Some really, really high winds. Even Toronto International Airport saw 82, 84 at Hamilton Airport. Things like that. Really, really wild. Quebec, wow, high temperature record 16.7. Man, so really up and down week. Meanwhile, Saskatchewan 36.4 in Broadview, 36.8 in Last Mountain Lake, 37.4, 38.9 in Nipawin. Whoa, cold, man. Really cold. They've been keeping records in Nipawin since 1927. And minus 39 is cold enough to freeze my Nipawins right off.
Yeah, it's a wee tit nipply.
What's this incoming storm mean for BC? Well, got some precipitation coming in. Yeah, first of all, going to see it show up on Vancouver Island. Looks like some big-time snow. Mount Washington Resort probably going to be the beneficiary of some fresh snow on top. Looks like a lot of snow, even into Whistler maybe. Some big-time snow showing up there. I believe that's in inches that we're seeing. Yeah, at the top is precipitation inches, right? So that's a foot of snow already by Saturday morning showing up in some of those places. Keep going. We'll watch that go to the coast mountains more and more. Starting to see a little bit show up more and more. A, down in the Highway 3 area, and B, up into the Peace. So that's the areas we're going to be watching. Maybe heavy snowfall here in Wells. Maybe some of that will spill over to McBride. Perhaps a bit into, might see a special weather statement for Sunday or something like that, still into Rogers Pass. Going to be nasty traveling down 99 Highway. I would not want to be driving into Bella Coola once it starts to get nasty. Get a quick break on Sunday, but here comes the next pulse Monday night. Boom, boom. The coast now taking some big time snow. Seeing looks like 65 inches, it looks like it's saying in some parts there on the island. So we'll see about that. But big snow next week into the Columbias, into the Rockies, into the Caribou Mountains. Looks like southern BC is going to be seeing some heavy snowfall as time goes on. And next week we're into a snowy pattern again. Let's see how she goes. And really what I'm concerned about is that cold air next week. We're having one of these interactions again where the cold's going to be pushing in, and maybe the Peace is going to be seeing some pretty cold air, maybe Fort St. John into Monday morning, overnight, and, Sunday, Monday, and some of that getting into northern BC. So maybe we'll get to Prince George. It's possible. It's possible if our coastal weather pounds in hard enough, it should beat that back. So, where that exact line will be, how far it makes it, and how far the coastal weather will beat back. Like last time, that's a little bit up in the air. It's hard for the models to exactly figure that out, but we came pretty close, I think, last time. It's a very similar situation that we saw just a couple weeks ago, and there you go, Alberta again. Having some cool weather coming at you next week. Yeah, enjoy that. You deserve that. There it goes, there it goes, there it goes, there it goes. What I really need is like a Millennium Falcon that'll never be stuck in the snow again, I don't think. Our storm in BC this weekend, Saturday overnight, you start to see where some of that snowfall shows up. Maybe a little bit through the Prince George area across the Highway 16 corridor. So watch for some messy travel on Saturday there. All in all, mostly a coastal show, but we could see some more statements and whatnot. And then Sunday, the low basically squeezes out, passes on. We catch a break before the next rounds. This is GFS modeling we're looking at right now. It's going to be a little bit different than ECMWF. The timing's just a little bit different, but they both have more or less the same thing. Periods of heavy precip coming into the coast, storm after storm after storm, frontal system after frontal system after frontal system, mid-latitude cyclones, major high pressure in the east this weekend. After a lot of bad weather, there's our storm dropping down. Pretty strong storm, but nothing like we haven't seen already, and it worked its way out, and the next one comes in, whaps us Monday night probably. More or less. Another one passed to the north, got a bit of a tail. Something on the tail might form into its own. No, guess not. It fizzles out and just slaps in next week. So more snow coming in next work week period. Your last week before, full week before Christmas. Going to be probably messy at times, depending where you are and who you are, what you're doing. And we'll be watching coming into Christmas for... we're expecting a large storm still in that. That's still a ways out, but the models seem pretty sure that repeat episodes are in our future. So because of all this change, although things are pretty calm right now, up in the Peace area, up in Williston, I would expect that we'll see a change in these conditions once the snow starts falling up there. So don't read too much into that right now. I would still be a little hesitant on Saturday when it says moderate. That might change. Although on the coast, we are seeing a significant change. High, and even considerable on Sunday. Be wary if you're going to play on the mountains. Even on the other side, on the west side of Strathcona, same thing. Extreme even. So extreme. You rarely see that. So Saturday, we're looking at, you just do not want to be in the mountains on that west side. And even on the east side and north, it's not good conditions. It's still at the orange, it's still considerable. We got the yellow moderate still up through Pemberton and areas out near Whistler, so not great. Looks like the Kootenays get a bit of a bye. Avalanche Canada is saying a slow-moving low-pressure system's approaching Vancouver Island. Friday, snow will spread into the southwest coastal ranges this morning to the interior ranges tonight. Locally, heavy snow amounts are possible over the coast mountains and the interior. Strong winds over Vancouver Island and southwest coasts. The cold has finally eased through the prairies. I got minus 17s there, but that seems like an improvement from what it's been for them. So things are getting better there. Things are getting better, mostly hovering around 0 through the central interior right now. Got some strong winds out in the coast at the moment. Seeing 83 at a personal weather station there off the coast. 365. That must be a ship out there. Yeah, it is. Another ship here reporting 72 off the coast of Bamfield, Tofino, Ucluelet, even into the gap near Victoria, seeing 58s at Discovery Island, 65 at CWZO Airport, 68 there from a personal station, even up 69s reported at some of the islands there, like near Hornby and things like that. And we see our precip is most likely already begun in some of these areas. It's just lightly misting here in Wells, right? And this just gives us a bit of a picture of what we got here, where our low is. And we will play through the weekend. And we're only going to cover, I think, the weekend for today. Keep it simple, just so everyone's got a good idea where they're traveling. And they got messy conditions. I wouldn't think that Coquihalla will be free of snow. You want to be wary going through there, even areas that don't have snowfall advisories. Heavy precipitation in northern California, a little bit of that spilling into Oregon, but most of the other precip from this storm is lashing into BC interior. So overnight, Saturday, most areas could see a little bit of snowfall at some time or another, right? So you're going to wake up Saturday morning and see maybe a gap. Things will be maybe okay through the interior itself. Maybe a little bit of freezing rain risk down there, but some heavier snow showing up later in the day Saturday into the Peace, Fort Nelson high level, Fort St. John, Fort McMurray will get their turn later in the day probably. The low passing right over Prince George Saturday afternoon at 5 p.m. And maybe sitting there for a little while, and weakening as it does, trying to cross over into the mountains and maybe reform itself on the Alberta side. And what will happen, this storm, the backside of this low will eventually start pulling cold air down, and it will lead to chillier conditions, right? Because we got the low going counterclockwise, although really weak and disorganized at this moment. You can already see how it's bending the isobars. It's making a change, because on the other side of those isobars is that cold air mass that you're going to start seeing Sunday morning, maybe even moving into northern BC. So congratulations. You're looking at some miserable temperatures coming at you real soon. We got that next storm on tap. It's going to start moving towards the BC coast on Sunday. Things will clear out mostly Sunday overnight, but then in time for Monday, during the day, we'll see that next one come in. We'll see that break in the temperatures between northern BC and southern BC. Once again, temperatures like 4 in the central interior, while up in Fort Nelson, maybe seeing closer to the mid-25s to 30s at times into the evening, right? This is the middle of the afternoon. This is saying. So I got that next low starting to form. That's finally our low that just passed over, getting cohesion and moving into Ontario for yet another round for them next week. So we're going to kind of just call it there and say, here's your weekend forecast, everybody. Be safe out there. We may see still some really interesting stories next week. I think once this passes, we'll have a better understanding of what we're looking at next week, Wednesday, if some of this complete ridiculous precip starts hitting into the coast. 20 mils in 3 hours. Oh boy, I'm talking extreme. What's going on here? 50 mils. Okay, big time next week. But mostly we're just concerned with where things are going to go. Right, this evening, we're going to see most of that through the Duffy. Heavier snow up through there. Saturday, we'll see that widening out. We'll see much more of that in the coast mountains. See a little bit of that in southern BC. The Revelstoke Rogers Pass area seeing pretty good precip up there. Perhaps Caribou Mountains getting a little bit of our turn as well. Saturday night, Peace starting to take some as well up to the Pine Pass and whatnot. That's what we're looking at through the weekend. And by the time we come to Sunday morning, you see a bit of a widening of that, more snow in the Caribou. So you want to check your avalanche conditions in a day or two again and not just rely on what you've seen me say here. And make sure you hit like, share, subscribe. Joey on the Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel. Yeah, cover BC's interior like no one else does around here. Kind of a hillbilly forecast, that's what you get. right here at Ragged Ass Road. It's -2. Nice. Let's go, Kenny. Well, that's the show for today, everybody. Hit like, share, subscribe, tell a friend. Please share, because I can't share on my most popular Facebook platform. 39,000 people there are on Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers. And once again, ridiculous Facebook restriction has kept me in the outs. Anyways, tomorrow is Victorian Christmas at Barkerville, and I will be there. I'm no longer banned from Barkerville. I'm very, very excited about it. The kids are very excited about it. They're extremely happy, so we're going to go and do that tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Maybe we'll see you there. Okay, everybody, bye for now.